The summer of 2002, a quiet Salt Lake City suburb. Elizabeth Smart, just 14 years old, was asleep in her bed, a place that should have been the safest in the world. But in the dead of night, that safety was shattered. A man's voice cut through the darkness, a knife pressed against her neck. "I have a knife at your neck," he whispered. "Don't make a sound. Get up and come with me." Her 9-year-old sister, Mary Catherine, pretended to be asleep, her heart pounding in her chest as she watched helplessly. This was the beginning of a 9-month nightmare that would grip the entire nation. The man was Brian David Mitchell, a self-proclaimed prophet. He took Elizabeth from her home and forced her into the desolate Utah mountains. For months, she endured unimaginable horrors, held captive by Mitchell and his wife, Wanda Bazzi. The public saw a different story. News reports were everywhere, showing pictures of a smiling, innocent girl. Volunteers searched tirelessly, and the Smarts made desperate pleas on national television. But behind the scenes, a critical clue was almost missed. Mary Catherine, the only witness, was terrified. It took her weeks to finally tell her parents something crucial. She thought she recognized the kidnapper's voice. It was a man named Emmanuel, a handyman who had briefly worked for the family. The police initially dismissed the lead. Emmanuel was a known transient, but they couldn't find him. The investigation seemed to hit a dead end, and hope began to fade. The media narrative shifted, sometimes even questioning the family. The pressure was immense. Months dragged on. Elizabeth was forced to wear disguises, veils, and wigs, hidden in plain sight. Mitchell moved her from Utah to California and back again, often walking through public places without anyone recognizing her. The search for Elizabeth Smart became one of the most extensive in U.S. history, yet she was right under everyone's noses. It felt like she had vanished into thin air. The family held onto a fragile thread of hope, fueled by faith and the memory of Mary Catherine's words about the man named Emmanuel. Then, the break. The TV show America's Most Wanted aired a segment featuring a police sketch of Emmanuel, whose real name was Brian David Mitchell. This is where the story takes its most incredible turn. People who had seen Mitchell, people who had even interacted with him, started calling the police. The tips flooded in. On March 12, 2003, 9 months after she was taken, 2 different couples in Sandy, Utah, spotted a strange trio walking down the street. It was Mitchell Bazzi and a heavily disguised young girl. They called 911. When the police arrived, they separated the girl. They asked for her name. She was hesitant, terrified. After a few agonizing moments, she finally said it. "I am Elizabeth Smart." The nightmare was over. It wasn't a high-tech police operation or a dramatic raid that found her. It was the power of community. It was ordinary people paying attention and having the courage to make a call. This case shows us that in the darkest of times, hope can come from the most unexpected places. It proves that every single one of us has the power to be a hero, to be the one who makes the difference. If you ever find yourself in a situation where something feels wrong, don't ignore that feeling. Your observation, your voice, could be the key to saving a life. Don't be a bystander. For more stories that reveal the strength of the human spirit and the power of community, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You never know when one small act can change everything. Thanks for watching.